why girlfriend umntana kuzoba umngani wami?
Kanjani?
Okay, sesihlangana naphi? Uyabona?
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's as
So you
Africans we lose
even
it
know when she's wearing a G-string.
there.
You even know,
Hey, girlfriend.
ukuthi akawashanga kahle, akawashi kahle ayi-girlfriend.
Welcome to Unlock with Tando Maumela, a podcast where positivity and open-mindedness are embraced. We are set to discuss various topics aiming to build, challenge mindsets and societal norms, question mediocrity and uplift spirits. If anything, expect a mind-blowing podcast hosted by your very own sister coach, aka Sheila Tando Kamaumela, the Kingdom Diva. Danko.
Welcome to Unlock with Tando Kamaumera, a time where we actually embrace positivity and open-mindedness. We are discussing squashing traditional beefs with the in-laws and uMakoti. And today I've got yet another guest that is, I'm biased today because this one is my family. We share, a lot together, including a surname, guys. My maiden surname is Nkala, and I became a Maumela in 2013. And she is Nkala, became uDlamini many years ago. She is now a matriarch. I can't call her uMakoti anymore because the era really has matured. So today we are going to have her in studio and she's going to share her observations. She's going to share her principles. She's going to share values of what made her stay in her marriage regardless. Beyond that, just also give us wisdom as the young Makotis and Nabamamazala who are watching. Sis B, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, good morning. It's good to be here. Thank you, Tando, for inviting me. My name is Busisiwe Nkala-Dlamini. Dlamini the Swati, we are the kings of the kingdom and not just the province or the ethnic group. So, yeah, I'm here today. I've been a Dlamini for almost 40 years now, and I'm happy to share, my experiences, my observations, and what I think, we can still do to make things better for the Makoti and the Mamazala. Thank you.
Thank you so much, SB, for really coming to Unlock with Tando. We are basically talking, or rather unlocking stereotypes, unlocking myths, unlocking, mindsets, unlocking or questioning mediocrity as well. We want to have an open conversation about things that people don't want to talk about in society. And we want to kill status quos about certain issues, like there will never be a relationship that's good between Mamazala and uMakoti. Who says so? But in 90% of the young people are feeling the pinch where Makoti and Mamazala relationship is concerned, including the sisters-in-law. It becomes such a strenuous relationship because there's the one person that is common to everyone, the son, who is now a husband. And there's responsibilities that seemingly, are unspoken that are given to the son, and it strains the marriage most of the time. So we just want to have your journey where you are coming from in your time, what you think worked as uMakoti in your era. It was then. Today we still are having uMakoti who are really feeling the begezelling era is not us. Your opinion, your view.
Okay. Tando, let me start with my journey.
Okay.
With my Mamazala. So when I got married to the Dlamini family, it happened that my Mamazala and my mother knew each other. Apparently, they got married around the same time and, they got along. But we didn't know when we met. We didn't know they knew each other. In fact, we also did not know each other. We only met, we met in 1992, when actually we grew up in the same township, like a kilometer away. Yeah. So when I got married into the family, my Mamazala was very accepting of me. And I'll tell you one thing that she did. When you sit there and you are told the do's and the don'ts.
Yes.
So they go in. My husband grew up in Rustenburg with a maternal grandmother and the maternal family. They are Xhosas and the Tswanas, and they are very rural and rigid about certain things. my mazala was in Davidton. She got married to this Rustenburg guy, but they moved to Davidton. So she spent most of her young and middle and to old life in Davidton. So they were telling me, about this. This is what you need to do. This is what you don't have to do. And I had two sister-in-laws, which were very sweet, both of them. She just stood up there, as they were saying, now we're going to change the dress code and whatnot. She says, no, saying in Xhosa, lo mntana ndiyamazi, iwardrobe yalo mntana yaziwa ndim, nomsebenzi awaziwa waziwa ndim. So if she's not going to wear her trousers to work, are you saying she has to buy a new wardrobe? And I was young, really, just graduated and starting to see things.
Yeah.
And everybody was shocked. I remember everybody like saying, "Uthini u-Angie ngoku?" And my aunt says, she has spoken. Yeah. And that's where I saw, hey, I'm at home here.
Amen.
We were fortunate also that I didn't have to stay at my Mama Zala's place after I got married. I moved straight into my house.
I hope you guys are listening.
Which is something that I'll advise young men.
Amen.
If you decide to get married, decide to be a man and not a boy.
Amen.
We love our sons very much, but we need to have space for each other. In Xhosa or in IsiNtu, we say not two bulls in one kraal.
One crawl, yeah.
It becomes an issue. It becomes a problem.
Yeah.
We cloud each other's spaces. I see with my daughter now.
Yeah.
I love her to visit.
Yes.
But also after some time, I'm like, I don't like my tablecloth to sit like this.
Yeah.
You have to put it like this.
Of course.
When you wash the dishes.
Plus, we're no meticulous.
Yeah. When you wash the dishes, she in her house, she puts the glasses face up and I put mine face down. So already you see that those differences. Yeah. She's my daughter.
Yes.
Imagine the other person's daughter. And sometimes we look at this like the Mamazala has got an issue. But sometimes we also come with issues as Makotis.
Hey.
We already, because I know when I got married, I had seen Makotis being mistreated next door.
Yeah.
Very badly. Such that the marriages of my brothers next door, my bigger brothers, did not last. Then when I got married, I was prepared. They're not going to do this to me, and they're not going to do this to me. I got there, it was just honeymoon.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. But remember, the family is not just a nuclear family. Yes. In African. When we go to Rustenburg, then the cousins, Bombo Malume's children and whatnot. Yeah, they made me feel I'm a Makoti. And unfortunately, when there's a funeral, you don't like to talk too much. I'll just remember this one incident. So I knocked off from the work, the kind of work we were doing.
Yeah.
Drive Friday there. When I got there, everybody was busy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to sleep. Please wake me up early hours of the morning. So I went to the car and slept. At about 2:00, one of my nieces came to wake me up. I was like, Sis B, there's nothing happening there. Please come. There were two of them and they were young. Like the other one was 15, the other one was 17. They said, we have to start cooking because the funeral's there at 7.
Yes, very
early in the morning, no one villages. There. And I'm like, the cousins, I think we can fill 2 Patco buses, just the family. Nowhere to be seen. Then we started cooking. That was fine, and we did the best we could. In the morning, everybody dressed up and went. Fortunately, the mothers in the village, they loved ugogo.
Yeah.
So when I came in, because my husband was Gogo's favorite, then they just loved me, and they were actually orientating me on how things are done there.
Yeah.
So they'll assist me. So this happened on several occasions, until one time, now I was old. their children went for initiation school. Ne? The two, my sister and the cousin. So when these children went for initiation school, remember, they are working there in Johannesburg. At home, it's my mother-in-law, because after grandma passed on and her husband passed on, she moved back home. So she's staying there at home. So she had to look after these boys for the whole week that they are in
Yeah.
in
In the
whatever that
initiation
place
school,
where
yeah.
you don't see them. She's cooking for them. They were when they were supposed to come out, the sisters and the cousin, they don't even have the right, the resources
Yeah.
to make things work. So me and my husband, as always, we put our things together so that things are okay for the boys. So we started working on Saturday, cooking. And on that particular day, I didn't expect that, I have to be one working, because the mothers are there
Are
and
they?
the
Yeah,
cousins.
their moms are there.
So the village women again came, they helped, because my Mama Zala, one of the things my Mama Zala did was, when you do tribe and intestines,
Yes.
I said, Busi is too young to do that. So
Danko.
she'll always, not Busi. And I'm not sure if I like to do that. And the black pots. He says, no, but
Yeah.
I love doing
Like
the
on the
pots.
floor.
Yeah, because my mother taught me.
Yes.
So I'll cook and I'll clean them to the point where you just love them. That's one thing that I'll do for her, because if I don't, she's the one who do it and nobody else. So I'll do that for her. So now we're preparing for lunch. We have cooked with the village woman. How? My sisters, they come there dressed up in umbhaco.
Yeah.
Orange. Umbhaco, orange like this. So when umbhaco is orange, it says you're not going to touch black pots, right?
Hey.
So now we serve people, and I'm looking at this. But at that time I felt, if I don't fix this, nobody's going to do it for me. So later I called my Mama Mamncane, which is a sister,
Yeah.
and the other sister. I said, please, can I have? First I went to my husband. I said, I want to have a meeting, based on the. And I said, oh no, go ahead.
Yeah.
I saw that actually I was gonna talk about it, but if you're comfortable, go. So I called them and I told them off. And I told them, I said, the mere fact that when there's a funeral, the only thing that you ever think of is to go and buy an outfit.
Clothing. Like, guys, where? I don't understand this culture of buying new clothes when there's
You
funerals.
buy the new clothes, and I'm telling you, not that I've got a good structure, but I get there. So I got into that as well. The way I was so angry to say, and just you don't look after yourself normally. And when you come to the funeral, that's the only thing.
They
It's,
do.
We buried your two uncles, we buried your grandmother, your
That
grandfather.
they buy ngisho nangemali grant. Yabona grant level 350 or 500.
Yes.
They would never contribute towards sugar and things for the week of the funeral.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
They would buy clothing.
Yeah.
And they're thinking when uMakoti that comes from wherever in Joburg, as you drive 5 hours even beyond, just to make sure that the week there's things.
Yeah. So you do all of that.
I know those.
Yeah.
I know those.
So, yeah, I gave it to them. But I'm fortunate also that the children, my nephews and my niece, they come to party. So I've got that
relationship
relationship
with,
with them, and that's my crowd.
Amen.
When we work, and we just ignore the people who want to make our life, difficult. But my mother-in-law is my queen.
And now that meeting, how did it go?
So then I told them off. I spoke about the mere fact that you went and bought an orange one. You're sitting here, and these village mothers are not here for you. They are here because they loved ugogo, they love umama, and they support me. They've been very, very supportive. Tando, every year, and when we go, if we're not going to Swaziland, we go there. I make sure I buy them something. Because yes,
How many are they?
They've been good. Now I'm left with 2, but there were 5.
Oh man.
They've been good to me. And I think that's what you need. I don't know what they do with their Makotis, but to me they're very, very good. But I think the principle is You know, I know this is a joke where one Makoti told the Mamazala that me and you, the status is the same here.
Isibongo, we all got it the same
We
way.
we all got it the same way. And I think if our thinking can be like that when we get married, you get married to your husband, but in an African culture, we get married to the whole family. But the family also, when you come in, we're not applying for domestic work.
Service.
Yes. We come in, with the Xhosa girl, they said, I didn't come to change the routine.
Yeah.
Let the routine not change.
Yeah.
Let the routine not
Incorporate
change.
the Makoti into the routine.
Yes.
And fairly so. Let
Fairly
everything be
so.
justified.
Fairly
Because
so.
what is, I think, more problematic is that majority of the Makotis are feeling this is a transactional relationship more than it is about us building a family.
Yeah.
Transactional in the sense that it drains us financially. And then emotionally, when I get there, I'm strained because I can't even spend time to even sit and get to know them even.
Yeah.
You can kill 10 years without knowing what kind of a sister-in-law you have.
True.
Because when you are there, you are actually a servant. And yeah, I got to learn in one of the episodes that I was shooting, actually the name Makoti must be cancelled if possible, because the origin of it comes from, you know, a Bure background where they're saying mark on steer. So sensibility, that's just what you are. You know, you're a servant here. Sensibility was for the domestic workers, you know, for our forefathers back then, or Mama Bakdala, who was still working in the domestic spaces growing up.
Yeah.
Now, they applied emzini ngokuthi say xa ufikile wena umsebenzi wakho usenzela itiye qha, that's where your corner is. And you are not allowed to speak, have an opinion, but your finances are wanted. They would plan events and certain things around your finances without, you know, you acknowledging or even saying Guti, we even have that. But now I want us to address the male counterpart who are unable to protect uMakoti babo when it comes to their own families. I mean, you know your family better, just like you know your family as uMakoti. What then?
Yeah. There are a lot of dynamics,
Okay.
especially around the males in the family.
Okay.
You know, I'm not sure why. This is my observation, I think, from my professional activities,
Yeah.
interacting with people, and just in general. Oh, it feels like males feel like it's like they owe their families something.
But njani sisiphi?
That's something that I do not understand. Which is why I was saying, if you decide to get married, make sure that you are going to have your own place.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, Nshi. So you visit each other, you get to know one another.
Yeah.
But also the second part, the Makoti concept is it's misdirected.
Okay.
What it meant to be Makoti was like a trainee.
Oh.
So you are just there so that your mamazala can teach you how things are done. Kwamajola.
For a short time.
For a short time. Not to be the servant. And if you look at some of the mamazalas back then, they were playing their role very, very well. To a point where they were able to cover for their Makotis when the Makotis cheated. And that was a very good relationship. They were just teaching them how you do this, how you do this, how you do this. To them, it was not like you're going to be the slave.
Yeah.
So I think, because I'm at the age of the mamazalas now,
Yes.
I'll address the mamazalas
Please,
first.
ma.
That the mamazalas, when those children come, she is your daughter. Just take her, she's your daughter.
Yeah.
Do what you'll do.
When she makes error,
Exactly.
she's your
Exactly.
daughter.
And she didn't come there to be a servant to your children as well. The only responsibility that she has, like, for instance, if she has to do washing, it's her husband's.
Yeah.
She can take yours and your husband's.
Yes.
It ends there.
Amen.
The other Booty and the other sisi,
Nabashana.
they must sort themselves out. With the Bachana, I don't even want to look that direction. The Bachanas have got their mothers, they've got their fathers.
They do.
It has to be sorted, it has to be fixed. When we do marriage counseling, we try by all means, to say, you have to look at this. Because these are sometimes they are minor, but they break because people live with this hate. And every time you look at this husband, you're like, azangung mele wena again, mabang treater. But now she doesn't have the skill to gumela.
Yeah, the capacity, Shem.
She has, he's in this maybe for the first time as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the
like
first one
mine.
to get married.
Like mine, he was the first to get married.
Exactly.
He struggled to confront situations. He struggled a lot, and it had to take me to do it myself.
Yeah.
Ukuthi ngizimele. But in that also, it almost destroyed us because I felt the same, like, Bita, why are you not protecting me?
Yeah.
It seems like you are allowing these things and you are enabling them to, you are enabling family to do as they please. While I note in our circumstances here that we are building, we are growing, and I'm not against assisting or helping, but I'm against enabling. Teach people how to fish.
Yeah.
Do not just decide, Guti, things are available, resources are available, therefore let's give them. And there was just culture that's surrounding. I don't know if it's only with the vendor culture, or we do have it, but now in our culture, I have not seen it much often. But it happens that there's an expectation for you to take their children to school, the nieces and nephews to school, without you voluntarily doing it. And with that also, it comes with, have you told them what our affordability in the household is, as you are expected to, educate this one and take that one? And where do we get the funds from?
Yeah.
Because I thought we didn't have, and sometimes I look at it and think, the honest truth about what we have and what we can't do. And no is a crime when it comes to in-laws. That's what I had observed in my journey. But later on, I realized, everyone has their own, there's certain things, or kind of dreams that they've got. And when they have not reached them, when they see someone is capable, they feel like achieving them, through that person. Because it's strenuous, Sisbi.
Yeah, it is.
When you already have your own children, or rather you are building this nuclear family.
Yeah.
Now you have other responsibilities. That's black text beyond measure.
Yeah. And it's unchristian as well.
It is.
Because in Christianity, it says the minute you get married, the man will leave the family and cling to the wife, and same with the wife.
Yeah.
But because we are Africans, we know that we are these extended families. But even though we are extended family, we still need to create the boundaries. Amen. It starts here, it stops here.
Boundaries are important.
Boundaries are very, very important. And Bomama Zala, this expectation, one thing that I've learned, which I loved, my father, may his soul rest in peace. My mother had this thing, when she'll give you money and it says, when you're going to school, so that you look after us when you're older. And then my father says, no, it's not the kind of investment that I'm making.
Amen.
I want them to be educated so that they can look after themselves. Mina, I've lived my life.
Yeah.
And
fully.
even after they leave my house, I'll still be able to. I don't want to depend on my children, and I don't want to be a burden to my children.
Amen.
And I think for me, that's one principle, that I don't want to be the burden to Ngobile and uMakoti. I don't want to be a burden to Ududu and the husband should get married. No, we are just family. We'll continue helping each other like we do. We do.
Support is important.
Support is very important.
It's very important.
But the fact that some people then will depend on others, and to a point where they'll depend, they'll demand.
Self-entitlement kills marriages so much. Yeah. But when you're not counted in the achievements, it's like you don't exist.
Yeah.
It's like you never sacrificed anything.
Yes.
You never resigned, from a job that was well paying, so that you can be able, in my case, for example, that you resign from a job that is well paying so that you can support someone who wants to go into business. And you're doing this consciously because you know that you are building. And you know, actually, if foresight, I know I'm not supposed to be in the corporate for long. So now let me join in and see. They don't even know the struggles that you go through initially, let alone even care to check to be Tando, are you guys doing well, since we know that you guys unemployed, both of you? It's a risk, yes, we took, but it shouldn't be a matter of like whatever. Why did they do it anyways? When we now reap the fruits, people are all over the place and you know, it shouldn't be the case. Yo,
No, things is kaput. Things is kaput.
uMakoti yena hayi uza last.
This other person,
Yeah.
this
Extra
schedule.
nje uzile uzowenza abantwana.
Yeah.
Phakamise family, sending family.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, for the Makotis that are still yet to come, or rather, I heard you speak briefly about how premarital counseling is important. So, for the couples that are coming in, when you cover, we do also premarital counseling now that we matured out of a lot of issues that we had. And now we realize, both of us, that as much as I have a strong character, some of the things did not come out so well when I was addressing in defense of myself. Because I felt, Mama Gaseko, I do not necessarily have, you know, people that can represent me. So I might as well, you know, face Lamavenda. You know what I mean? But, you know, with him, it was a matter of you are harsh sometimes, Tando. You know, how you come across, you know, you come across as a person who not only is bitter, but also come across as a person who, it's like my way or highway. Kanti, there's a way of approaching certain things so that they are able to see that they are bebenga kwenzeka kuhle. You know, and I must say that has taken it took a long time. I guess in the 7th year, that was when things were settling, where actually people were realizing, Bible, we are messing up somebody's marriage. Because also another sister wife had already left, you know, and, you know, it's due to, I'd say, such strenuous issues, but because bengazi what it was or how to express herself, you know, she made decisions that then landed up her up out of umshato wakhe. But with that, you recommend premarital counseling, and is it why? Why is that?
Premarital counseling is ifana ne-induction.
Yeah.
Just
He
preparing
is a professional,
because
guys. She's a lecturer.
because we know we are in this relationship because we love each other.
Yes.
And love alone,
It's not enough.
not enough. A relationship does not survive with love alone. There are a lot of other challenges.
Yeah.
And because when we are on the other side, you know, we don't see these challenges.
Yes. I get a date.
And sometimes we even wonder, how late you see, umabuye kwendeni. And
soldier, abanye basho
yeah,
njalo.
about return soldier. We do not understand, you know, what they went through. And there are people like me and you,
Yeah.
strong, maybe good Bonkala.
Ah.
There are people that are strong. You can stand for some of these things, and you get to a point where you say, "Ngizonitshela mina ke."
Yes.
And some people don't have that ngizokutshela. When you don't have ngizokutshela, like, you give up and you go. So we prepare them for that. What if this happens? What will happen if this happens? Issues the finance, nje, you know.
That.
I remember one induction, a tip that I got from my grandmother. My grandmother says, I know, you know, when you're in love, you open about everything, but every woman has got his savings in yake.
Yeah.
And now as I grow old, but I took the advice.
Yeah.
And it helps.
It helps. I took my
helps,
mom's
you know.
advice as well.
Yeah.
I would say every woman, you need to have a saving. It helps. It even saves your one of them chat, you know, because
Exactly.
most of the time when you find tata gana petrol gana ntoni, you actually are the one to save the day.
Uphuma kuleya
You
nto.
know, you don't have to
Yes.
be finding yourself indebted to people and all that because of the savings, or rather your principle in saving money. So I hear you very well there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is live within your means.
Amen to that. Po.
My friends are in Bryanston and Morningside.
Whatever.
And I also want to go to Bryanston and Morningside. How much do you have?
How much do you
How much
earn?
do you make? And what's left after we've spent?
Yeah.
that people need to think. All my friends are driving Mercedes-Benz. I also want the Range Rover. I want Mercedes-Benz, by the way. So,
Listen, you will have it.
with
You,
what?
I trust you.
even if I drive it for one day. So they need to think about that. Children, have you thought about children? How many children do you want?
You
How many
want.
children can you afford? Do you know how much the school fees is?
This day and
this day and
age,
age,
yeah.
and. Maybe you can start saving
Yeah.
for future before you get married.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people save towards things like, educational policies for a child that does not exist yet. When the child is there, gift is actually an educational policy payment. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great one.
That's a great one.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So just for them to think about this and also how to handle the situation. Because sometimes, the in-laws will love you whilst you are still a cherry.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking
Girlfriend.
ukuthi yo yabona leyo yona it pisses me off mina personally ukuthi we normalize in society ukuthi people must continue to date, sometimes even have children bengatshadanga. Xa sebachadile then you change towards them.
Yeah.
What changed? Because ngoku you can't have this corner demands.
I think that's one of the issues. I don't know.
Yeah. But
And also
it's
that
unfair.
distance. I think we need to also create the distance. Why girlfriend umntana kuzoba umngani wami?
Kanjani?
Okay, sesihlangana phi? Uyabona?
Yeah, sometimes I think it's as
So you
Africans, we use
even
it
know when she's wearing a G-string.
there.
You even know,
Hey, girlfriend.
ukuthi akawashanga kahle, akawashi kahle ayi-girlfriend. And you tolerate all of that. The minute ashada, ukhumbula zonke lezi zinto because uyazazi. Kanti kumele zikushoke makashada. And that's when you become polite to say, Sintanam,
Let me correct. Yeah.
aware.
Just wear a vest if you're
Maso
wearing
waneka ayi-7. Buwabekephi? Uyabona?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But remember, you are a mother to the whole nation.
Yes.
Whether it's your daughter-in-law or the other girl next door or the girl you meet at the street, agcoke gown on a Sunday at 12. Uhlisi window, chapa baby, awusemhle. Uyaphi? Asho but aware. Ukuthi
Xesha mzalwane.
mzalwane lento ufakile kahle kahle ayimelanga kuhamba ngayo estradini. In future ungakwenzi yazi. Yona inhle but keep isithunzi. And you'll hear them say, thank you, ma'am. That's what you do, even with uMakoti.
Makoti.
Now, mawusemsebenzini awufuni babahashasha nje.
Yes.
Uyabona?
You
Funa
then call
bakutshele
it a
kahle.
toxic environment. mabenza njalo.
Then siqala sithi toxic environment. Uyayibona leyo nto le. So let's not have a toxic environment within our houses. We are building relationships.
We are, and they're a lifetime. They're a lifetime.
Lifetime.
They're a
Lifetime. That son is good. If ever there are children that come after the marriage, those are your grandchildren for life.
Yes, forever. Uziyogodini actually, because
Exactly.
Makoti wako is literally the now and the future.
Exactly.
Till forever.
So we can do things better. So yeah. So prepare them for the situations because sometimes they don't know. And remember, sometimes people say, these peer groups. Peer group it's fine. But what I have a problem with a peer group, you've got the same experience.
Yeah.
So you're sharing like very, very limited. They need mentors.
They do.
They need
I mean,
mentors.
it's biblical as well. I mean, the Eunices, the Naomis were teaching the
Yes.
younger ones in
Yes.
Titus too. That's why we have such. But there's matriarchs. There's people that mentor. I think also, I think it depends also with the young Makotis what kind of people they lean towards. I've always never been a person who leans towards my own peers forever.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it came naturally, but the mature type, it's the people that I enjoy being. The mature group it's my type. I mean, I'm looking at when we were working in your sis eaters. It's people that I got to lean towards compared to your liratos, people that were actually My peers,
very true.
I've just never been. Even at school, I've just never been. So for me, it worked because even beyond just the singleness, the youth, to now being a mom, it works. You are able to have, a word with Sisis B, but I'm not comfortable with 1, 2, 3. And you are never going to be advised to Puma, the first thing.
That's the
you
first
are
thing.
never going to be advised to Mtuke, the first thing.
Yeah.
It's always, have you tried this? And the treatment also, it's not similar to what a friend would. You are always mature about things. He would not know that you actually know. So that's the beautiful thing about having a mentor in life. You hardly, Usispi would not tell that I actually know Wenza 1, 2, 3 to Tando, because then she's praying for us, I believe. She
Yes.
actually wants us to win,
Exactly.
And ever so often, how did you work around this issue, Tando? How far are you guys? And I believe I would not have made it to 10 years now, going to 11, if I had peer groups
Yeah.
to, to talk to about these issues and actually listen to them giving advice. Doesn't work.
Yeah. I had a sister in marriage who was ready to leave because the people in the village were telling her things, about their happy.
Yeah.
And we said we spent the whole afternoon. We spoke about this. Have you seen anything?
Yeah.
Have you heard? And if you leave,
The pros and
but
cons of it.
and eventually, she went back and shared this with the husband. The husband is the
leaving
cousin.
was it going to be worth it?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was ready to leave. And they've got a beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
And it is none.
Yes. And then I said to her, you know what I used to do? When a person comes to me and says, now my husband, Shem, was an up and about man. Says, okay, so umbonile. Mna, andimbonanga.
Yeah. You were the one umbonile.
Umbonile. So, uyangixelela, ndithini ke? Ndihambe,
Akaphumule
ndimlahle.
umuntu nge-reverse.
Ndithi ndimlahle. Andikakabathenga ongayibonanga ikubulali. Ndilapha.
Then you just continue with
Thina
life.
sihappy ke apha endlini. So buya leso sikhathi abuyazo.
Because all the things that you want done are actually getting done.
Ziyenzeka.
And yeah, actually getting done. So we basically need to mind how we relate to, within the relationships that we've got concerning our own marital relationship as well.
Yeah.
Because protection then it needs to come. I reflect him, he reflects me wherever he is.
Yeah.
All the time. Sure. And also I reflect the in-laws as well, as much as I reflect my family.
True.
And I would be doing things as
Yeah.
with the family by, and then we funde pikele because we don't know it.
Yeah. And the next time they're like, this Nkala.
These rude people,
Yeah.
or these, because we're given names.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we get given names, and easily, uMakoti, you are given names.
And
But
what you want them to say, abekho abanye abantwana bakini.
yes. That's
That's what we that's
In
what
principle,
we do.
yeah.
Yes, that's what we do. So we just need to, young people need to be prepared for
for
blind our love, the materialistic things and whatnot. I like Penny Libyane.
Yeah.
Penny Libyane once shared, it was in public,
Yeah.
that I drove a Range Rover. I was amongst the first people to drive a Range Rover, and I was staying,
And she was.
I don't know the suburb, I don't know which suburb is it. But the scars were not only physical and emotional inside that Range Rover. And eventually, I couldn't.
Cope anymore.
She a Range Rover. And if the people can, hear stories like that,
Yeah.
Kuti, it's in threshold yakho for
What's
pain.
your threshold? Yeah.
Because the pain on, it will be there. Sometimes uzicapukele from emsebenzini mntakababa. Afika umuntu wenkosi athi into you snap.
Because so much is not going well at work.
Already ufikela emntwini ogcwele.
Yeah.
and magathi nje ibisi livele liyachitheka uthi uyathela ibisi liyachitheka. So how do you deal with those? Ngoba sometimes a person doesn't snap because ucaphukele wena. We like swimming pool, so swimming pool uphuma umanzi vele hlala simanzi. So people need to be prepared, for that. Good.
Journey.
I see honeymoon.
It's a journey.
Honeymoon. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And things will not always go your way, which is another problem. I mean, it happens even at school. It happens at work. Good people want things their way, and if they don't go your way, you're not prepared. For
the challenges.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Sisbi, you are married actually 40 years.
I'm going 40 now.
And it's for you.
And grey.
Isn't it beautiful though? I think it's a blessing that your strength is still there while you are still in the marriage. Because some of them are actually suffering from a different type of diseases, who are staying bahleli because, for instance, when you're a woman who's professional as well, who is in the professional space, some are staying because they really could not afford. Their staying was based on Tlanhambayo, then what? Or in any case, definitely, I know, but it's not the case. Even if you were to leave, you are still going to be the independent woman that you are still. The issue of independence, does it play a role with uMakoti? Is it important that one, has their independence still in terms of, education, in terms of, wanting more of life, dreaming? And how important do you think that is?
It is very important. Remember, the important person first is self.
Yeah.
And if you can take care of yourself and love yourself and do things for yourself and reach to the sky, how are you going to then help the others and survive, this whole thing? That is why most of the time you find people sit and gossip and watch soapies and do this. Things that don't take us forward. You don't belong to any structures. You sit and you complain about everything that everybody's complaining about. You don't do anything.
Do anything about it,
yeah. You've got the whole time, you've got 12 hours in the township, and you see these 16-year-olds and 14-year-olds that are smoking nyaupe. The mothers are at work and we are around. And you can't even think of, let's just,
them.
the few of us gather and work with these children, And there are parents who are out there who'd love to have people help them with their children. Because when we had children, very few people have had children, they had them when they planned.
True.
Including us in the marriage. I know with both my children. I mean, the last one I cried for 9 months, 7 months, in fact, when I found out. Right up to when I gave birth.
Was it a surprise baby?
Tanda just turned 38 and 38 pregnant. Like it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll cry every time, and then the gynecologist is like, Did you fight? And people are sitting there, in those private clinics, couples are sitting, holding hands, and are smiling, and look at
and
us.
And you're thinking, yo.
Yeah. And the poor man didn't know what to do anymore because Njenshai under the belt.
Oh, bye.
Hence, I left him when he was 2. I got the scholarship, and I'm like, you know what? I'm taking the scholarship, and I'm leaving this child with the father. And I only connected with him when I came back.
Okay.
Only then I started connecting. It was a very funny feeling. And it's sad coming to think of it.
Okay.
And people, because we don't share these things.
Yeah.
People, you sit there. Yeah. I was stuck. If it wasn't for my mother and my mother-in-law, because my mother-in-law even moved in to come. So they'll do everything. All I was doing is to breastfeed.
Sure.
And
it was what was it? It was postnatal. It was just
it happened pre, so I don't know what it was. Just feed.
Yeah.
And the first word that my child called out was Tata.
Of course. These ones are very, they're sabotage labantu laba.
Children start with mama, and she started with Tata. And I believed, I understood what this child felt this disconnect.
Yeah, good to know my
but
Tata
then
is the one.
Yeah, and when we connected for life.
Amen.
So, and we never talk,
Speak
speak about these things with children. What's your plan for children? Having children in 5 years, in 2 years, if you find yourself pregnant. And people are like, "But ushadile."
Yeah, of course. And they don't think that you've got
But
certain plans.
angakaplani, bengakaplani. We haven't. So let's talk about the issues. Let's have open conversations as women, and conversations that build.
Yes.
Because most of the time we are, we look more on the negative of our life. There are so many beautiful
positives.
things that happen in a woman's life. Be a Makoti, be a Mamazala.
Yeah.
And Mamazala, some of the Mamazalas, they take out their frustrations. They're like, when you're doing USAP A, I don't know, Udom.
Yeah.
I was
Grade
taught by
Y.
Mistress Zulu. Mistress Zulu used to beat the hell out of us. And Mistress Zulu was more or less my mother's age. But I sat in class one day and I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be the teacher. And I want to teach her children. And I'm going to beat them up. Ne? Uzulu's children were my age. But I had that feeling good, when I grow up, go to Sabi, Mistress Zaula, beat the hell out of us. But Mistress Zaula could tell that And as you grow, when that bitterness,
it fades,
and
it fades.
it fades. So I want to say to Boba Mazala, please, man, find something that will help you heal, but don't hold it and think you're going to take it out on another person. Just find a way to heal. It doesn't help you as well.
Yeah,
Ukuba
it
nalama
doesn't.
grudges.
It doesn't.
And let go of
Amen to
the
that.
man. The minute he gets old, he starts having an erection, he's no longer in the nappies. Let go. Just let go.
I think it's so difficult for many of our mamazala to actually get to that point of letting go. Perhaps the letting go should start when when they start bathi uyenze 18 metric mazikhali, since you're going to
Flat
varsity
yakho.
iye flat in lakho nje, because I want that separation anxiety ukuthi ngishaye iphele. Ngazi nje ukuthi in the next 2 years or so, abantwana babelungu they get married very young. 22 umuntu sekethi ngiba nonkosikazi and etc. And bayithola ukuthi it's so easy, it's kulula. Even the parents actually chip into this wedding thing because bona banalobola, but they chip in and make sure that vele shada and go. But with us Africans, it's so it's such a difficult thing to go through. But more than anything, I'm glad nje ukuthi you are a liberal mamazala, a liberal matriarch, in the sense that you've got grace towards abantwana babantu. And this, applies with you as a professional, applies with you as umama, wesizwe. And it, until our mothers out there actually get to know ukuthi ma umama, you are actually umama wesizwe, then you'd understand that the release of your son is not, it's not in vain. It's actually a gain, because then this person would know ukuthi nami as a man, I'm going to be a father to a nation. I'm going to babazala one day and welcome. Futhi men seemingly are easy on uMakoti, as ngathi baba who welcome uMakoti kalula and love them. They're very understanding. Wow. Singathi ngathola leyo musa, that grace nathi yokuthi sifane nabo baba who just mntana bantu lo, mphatheni kahle.
Umuntu.
Yeah, umuntu naye.
And sister-in-law, please, start with your own life as well. Yes, it's your brother, and akubangwa.
Yeah, he'll forever be.
Akubangwa.
Baqala impilo zabo sisibi.
Wonke umuntu akabe ne-life yakhe. Once uthi 18, ungakabi nama-goals ukuthi this I want to turn left or right, kune problem. But seek professional help, because we have these services.
Yeah, of late.
Of late we have these services. We talk about them. Nasemasontweni, can I talk to abantu bamasonto, please? Yekani ucabanga ukuthi esontweni it's only about the 10%, which I query so much. emasontweni,
for another day.
don't be rigid.
Yeah.
Manfundi Bible, because there are verses actually that liberate us.
Amen.
Asibe liberated. uNkulunkulu ufuna sibe happy sonke. Kungabi khona abantu ababa happy at the expense of abanye abantu. And emasontweni kulabantwana kufuneka ukuthi bakhuliswe khona. Asiye kubahleba baba nezici, you know. Umntwana uba pregnant, kuba yi-talk of the town, usesaba ukuza, akasazi ukuthi uzoya kubani. Umntwana unenkinga, umeza kuwe uyazi ukuthi in 2 minutes Mrs. Maumela ngicishe ngathi Maumani. Maumela uzabe seke yazi lento le. Abafazi yithuna lezi ndaba. Wes mawi Christian uyithuna lezi ndaba. Kunendaba ekumele ukuthi ufe nazo ukuthi abantwana bakuthembe bakwazi ukuthi mabanenkinga they come to you. Bathwele, sithwele sonke. Marifa sithwalisani angeke. And sometimes ufika usifombe ehle kuqhaqhazela. Asiyekeni.
Isn't it always the case?
Asiyekeni, asibe nabafazi.
Man, it's such an interesting conversation because then it sways into different aspects of life where we need to stop, making joke of, our issues that we all face, or rather that people face in different, forms. In life, we are called for different journeys. And I believe my experience, or rather my healing is an inspiration to someone else. Yeah. And my experiences are an inspiration to someone else. If at all, you feel that your journey is worth being on a pedestal, one day when it falls, someone else will rise. That's just impilo nje. We all inyona means indiza lephezulu siphuza amanzi phansi. Someone said this. Sonke siphuza amanzi. Siphuza amanzi phansi. So as much as that idiom is funny, but you realize ukuthi no, it's actually not funny. Even in science, every action has a reaction. And as soon as you realize abanye, that say karma, it always turns around.
Yeah.
This says a lot about life. Uguti, as you grow, you're facing issues with the in-laws. It may be someone else's story that's going to be helping them to navigate in their own, journey, and not decide to divorce, at just a go, because then they would know which actually you stood, because there were certain challenges that you faced, and you made sure that you stand against them, because actually when you are living a space that you are happy at, except uguti auko happy with the in-laws who are sometimes not even understanding the institute of marriage.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't even
they
understand.
They don't understand. Exactly.
Abayazi lento.
If ni right nomuntu wakho. And I think nabo baba, they need to take responsibility and start talking to men, Guti.
Yes.
Because men have to defend. They must defend their wives. Irresponsibility.
Yeah, it is.
Ungabi neutral, you can't be.
It's impossible. Love it.
Nilwile futhi. Hawu niphinde nalwa nosisi. Yazi ukuthi usisa manje
Nizwile emasontweni, guys. We don't discuss. I tell you, there's an issue with Mama Zala. You can't discuss it with Tuna. You're supposed to be praying for me and actually giving me positive advice. Emasontweni, you are the ones that are actually killing the people that are supposed to be coming to you for, for solace, for comfort, for liberation as well. So can we just, adjust to the idea that God had when He created us as human beings? He did not create us to become animals towards one another. He wanted us to actually live in unity. I do agree totally, Sis B, with you. Your last words, Nje, that you want to give out.
The last word is abafazi. Angisathanda ukuthi imbokodo ngoba laba abashayayo bafuna ukubona ukuthi igazi liyaphuma na kwimbokodo. So asase imbokodo. Abafazi intamo ne. So if you break the neck, the head won't turn.
Yeah.
And the head ubaba. Yeah. So the neck is the strongest and the most important part yomzimba wakho. Bengicela ukuthi sibe intamo. Sibe strong. Asapothaneni siyabafazi. We need each other.
We do.
Nje siyadingana. Noma ngabe
married or not.
usuna le double story glass right round. We need each other. I worked at Sentin Clinic as a nurse some years back. Ngiyazi kwenzakalani kuma-mention across the race. Asupportaneni, we need each other. But asupporteni nabantwana bethu, let us love them not to their destruction, but let's love them so that they grow. And thank you for the opportunity to be in the program. Thank you.
There you had it, Sis Busi, Udade, Busisiwe Nkala-Dlamini. Guys, sharing on her experiences and her observations for society in general, nje. But more than anything, I enjoyed the part where we actually got to have a tongue lash in a very humble and beautiful way as women. That look, you can be a mamazala and be vibey with your daughter-in-law. It just is in the principles and the values that are applied. Do watch Unlock with Thando Kamawumela. Check us out on TikTok. We are Unlock with Thando Kamawumela. Check us out on Instagram. Social media, Thando Sheila Kamawumela. Please do share with your friends and click that subscription button. Click that sharing button and like, guys, and watch the adverts. We really want to grow the community and unlock the different mediocrities that are there. We want to unlock the myths, the things that people are thinking are normal. Kanti, what is normal may not be a normal to the next person. Can we just unlock with Thando?